Welcome to the Podunk Polymath, a podcast dedicated to the sentiments of secular, sarcastic, screwed-up Southern SJW and skeptic. I'm your host, Chris. Come on in. This is episode 32 of the Podunk Polymath podcast. Thanks once again for joining me. Hope you had a great week. A couple of things. First off, the sound quality in the pre-ramble is probably going to be off because I'm using my headset because I don't have access to my regular microphone, so sorry about that. Also, my voice is kind of hoarse for reasons you shall soon find out why. So this weekend this Saturday, I went to NaNoCon 2017 here in Nashville, Tennessee. Had a great time. Let me just give you a brief synopsis of what happened. I left here in Nashville at like 7 in the morning to go to Clarksville to get the inestimable Jen Aldridge from Not Another Atheist podcast to bring her down here. So we had a great trip. I went up there and got her, came back down. We got to the Unity Church in Nashville, and I was a little bit, not just me. Some people are like, well, a church, really? How great is that going to be? But it's a liberal church, and I was pleasantly surprised at the layout. It had a nice campus. There was some outbuildings. And when we pulled up, I was really surprised at how many people were there, actually, in the parking lot. I had a little trouble finding a parking space. Saw some older people going in, which means old people representing for the nuns and atheism. So we go up in there. We got there a little later than we should have. We had a podcast panel. We actually did it 3 times. The first time was me, Joe Kendick, Jen, Tucker, Ari from the Atheist Manifesto, and Cass Midgley. And we just basically told people to answer questions, what our podcasts were about, what we did. You know, certain things, if they ask questions like, you know, what do you do to monetize? What do you do? What kind of equipment do you use? Yada, yada, yada. The second time around, and the third time, I think, it was Kate came in and Ari left. And I think Joe left for the second one. And there was a third one, and it was about the same. We kind of rotated a little bit, but I was pleasantly surprised at the turnout. I was a little nervous, so I was a little short. I'm better on the mic here than I am in person. But, you know, nobody's perfect, I guess. So that was fun. Also, after the podcast panel, we kind of just wandered around. I got to meet some great people. I forgot to mention the night before, I got to hang out at a bonfire with Matt Dillahunty, Kelly Wright, Rob Hilton, I think, from the Tri-State Freethinkers. There's a lot of Gail Jordan was there. A lot of people were there, so I had a great time beforehand. There's a guy named Harry Fluke from Britain who is here for some sort of project he's doing. He's going to different places to see about, I guess, atheists / nuns, how we live in the South, I guess, and then he's going to go back and try to sell this photo project when he gets back from Britain. So it was great to have a little international flavor. We kind of hit it off, so I don't know if my picture's going to show up somewhere, but we'll see. After party was great. The pre-party was great. Then the next day, of course, like I said, we hung out. After the panels, we basically was screwing around the whole time. I got to talk to a whole lot of people. I got to finally meet Ari, of course. Callie I've seen before. Celeste was there. Tristan Ismay, Travis Meyer, but they were only there briefly because she wasn't feeling well. There's Joe Kendick, Tucker Drake, Callie and Robin from the TGIA Members Only Lounge page, group, whatever. A couple other people. Oh, Jenica Crail and her dashing husband. Of course, she's hot. Beautiful, of course, what I meant. Stopped by to talk to us. There's just so many people. I got to meet so many people. I had alcohol just about the entire freaking day. Joe brought a bunch of beer from Zon's, some growlers. So we kept pretty well tanked most of the day. Not real tanked, but, just buzzing. Of course, Tucker was there. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. There were some people that came up from Cleveland I got to talk to, and they were talking about how they're not accepted in their own town because of who they are, and I thought that was kind of depressing, but not surprising. I got to meet a gentleman from Haitian. He does a podcast called Haitian Freethinkers, and I got to talk to him for a while. I found a guy who was starting a podcast by Chattanooga. I forgot the name of the town. Signal Mountain Skeptics, I think is the name of it. We'll put a link up if I can find it. I haven't yet looked and seen. I think he has a Facebook page, but I'll have to go look. Haitian Freethinkers, I'll put one up to that if I can find it. Of course, like I said, we're drinking. We got to see Callie Wright come on stage. Matt Dillahunty was the main speaker. JT Eberhardt was speaking. Of course, Patrick Horst who was on this show and is one of the main organizers, spoke. So there was a lot of speakers, a lot of hanging out, a lot of drinking, a lot of laughing, a lot of good times. Turned out to be a decent, pretty nice day. So that was good. Got to eat from food trucks. It was overpriced. There was a potluck, but the line was so ridiculous that we just got something from the food trucks. So that was fun. Let's see, what else? I'm missing a whole lot, I'm sure I am, but I'm still trying to recover a little bit. So after all that, after we hung out and saw the speakers and all that, we went to get something to eat. It was me, Tucker, Jen, Zach. How the fuck can I forget Zach? Zach Law was there too, and he was with me at the bonfire the night before, and he provided me with shitty IPA, but he provided me with a lot of beer, so I can't really fuck with him. But now he keeps bugging me about IPA since I kept drinking it, even though I said I hated it. So all praise goes to Zach for bringing the beer and being such a cool guy about it. I kept ribbing him. But he was there at the dinner. Ari, Callie, Celeste, Joe Kendick, Tucker Drake, Jen. We had dinner at the Corner Pub in Brentwood. That was fun. And then we went to the after party, which I didn't know. For one thing, it was dead downtown, which was kind of a pain in the ass trying to find parking. But we got there. And I'm like, where the hell is everybody at? Little did we know that there was upstairs, there was a thing reserved for us, and I had no idea. So that was fucking awesome. And we got up there, and there wasn't many people yet, but they started filling in. Carla, of course, Carla Combs was there. Wife Jamie, who Carla was also did a speech at NaNoCon with Callie. She did a workshop, I think. She was there. Callie was there, of course. A lot of people, not as many people, as the convention, obviously. But Tucker, Joe, Carla, Jen was there, of course, because I was a ride. She didn't have a choice. Ari was there. Callie and Celeste. Yeah, it was a great time. I'm hoarse because of the smoke. A lot of people smoking, and I'm not used to it, so that's okay. Price I paid for the awesomeness. So I hope I'm probably forgetting a whole bunch of shit, but that's kind of the main stuff that happened. I didn't mention at the after party. It was right next to Tootsie's, I think, and you could see where the Ryman was, the back door of the Ryman. And Tootsie's, there's that thing where the artists used to go to Tootsie's Orchid Lounge and then walk over to the back door of the Ryman. Live musicians who were going to play there hung out with Tootsie's and then walked in the back door over at the Ryman. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like I said, I'm missing a bunch of shit, I'm sure. But yeah, it was a great time. I got to see a whole lot of people I've seen before, but also people I hadn't seen before. And there's just a lot of good energy, a lot of fun, a lot of people laughing, getting to hang out. Very family-like atmosphere, which, of course, anybody knows about our community in the South. We're tight-knit because we're kind of shunned a little bit, so that's understandable. So anybody who missed it, that's okay. It'll be here next year, I'm sure, and bigger and better than ever. You can check the Facebook page and see I'll probably put something up, pictures or something. I'll put up my personal profile, but I may put some up on the Facebook page as well. I don't think there's... Like I said, I'm missing a whole bunch of shit, I'm sure. So if anybody got left out, I'm sorry. It's so much going on. My head was filled, my heart was filled, so it was hard to... I think I got to remind you, my personal page, I pretty much... because I have all the pictures tagged. So if I forgot anybody, look on there. You're probably there. I didn't forget you. I'm just old and forget shit. So anyway, it was a great time. Let's just say that. And it'll undoubtedly be here next year, bigger and better. I hope so. That's all I wanted to say about that. On the palaver this week, I'm going to be speaking with Robert and Amy from Secular Yakking. Should be a great conversation. They're really cool to talk to. I love their show. And they play off each other so well. Which makes their show interesting to listen to. So on to the palaver, and thanks for listening to the pre-ramble.
Hey, all you listeners, I'm Robert.
And I'm Amy from Secular Yakking.
And we just wanted to let you know that if you've got 30 minutes to kill,
then we're the podcast for you. We're just some old married couple who's been yakking at each other over the many years.
And we thought we should start making it so you can listen in on our yakking.
We dig past the mainstream and bring you the news that you may or may not have heard about.
We take a look at politics, religion, science, and pretty much anything we feel like yakking about and sharing it with you. And let us not forget our weekly Mr. Potter Award.
No, we're not professionals on anything we talk about, but we love to yak about stuff and give you our opinion on the matter.
So tune in at secularyakking.com or check out our feed on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and anywhere good podcasts can be heard.
And who knows what craziness will happen.
Yeah, just like this.
Hi, this is Dan, Ryan, and Matt with the Godless Revolution podcast. We've had a lot of great guests on this show. such as Russell Glasser, Dan Harrell, Brian Fields, David Silverman, Doug Mesner, a.k.a. Lucian Greaves, and Joey Kirkman, whom we love a lot.
We've also had a lot of really cool local guests. And we're a podcast that likes to fight for the separation of church and state and against anti-skepticism of all kinds.
You should give us a listen, because if you don't, you're going to be really sad.
Make your ears happy. Listen to the Godless Revolution podcast.
Welcome to another edition of the Palaver here in the Podunk Polymath podcast. This week I have with me a couple who run a podcast. It's a podcast I started listening to not long ago, and it's funny and informative, and the hosts are always at each other's throats, but that's fun. So if you will join me in welcoming Rob and Amy from the Secular Yakking podcast. How y'all doing?
Hi, Chris. Pretty good.
Doing good.
All right. Well, of course, I was on y'all's show not too long ago, so I thought I'd have y'all on. And like I said, y'all's show is pretty funny. And of course, I forgot to mention the Mr. Potter Award as well.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah. Why don't you just go ahead and, first of all, tell everybody who y'all are.
So I'm Robert. That's really all you need to know.
Really? I'm Amy, by the way. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I kind of started the show. I'm a secular activist to start with, a social justice warrior type guy. Do a lot of cool stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not used to describing myself. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I just kind of go along with everything he schedules. You know,
pretty much.
We're really active and really busy. We run groups as well as podcasts and whatnot.
Yeah, she's also the yakking part. I'm the secular part, so.
Really?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, if you say so.
All right.
So, why don't you kind of tell me what the genesis of your all's podcast was?
So Amy and I have been together for 23, almost 24 years. Well, going on 24 years now.
Uh-huh.
And ever since we started going out, we took drives.
Mm-hmm. Long ones.
Long drives. And those included a lot of talking.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it would be anything from stories or what's been going on in the media. That was, thing that was going on, or just talking about the universe itself. We just always did that.
Right. And when I became a secular activist, I was like, man, there's all these cool podcasts. I would like to do a podcast.
Yeah, just off the top of your head.
Right.
Too.
So that was bounced around for a long, long time, for a couple of years. And then I have a different project that I run called the Original Motto Project. And it wasn't getting off the ground as quickly as I wanted to. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do a podcast. Maybe I'll get a little attention from that, right? So I came up with this idea. Said we're going to talk about the motto stuff, which we'll probably get into later. And I told Amy, like a couple days before I was going live.
Yeah.
And she thought it was a horrible idea.
Well, to back it up, he had been saying he wanted to start a podcast for a little while before that. I'm like, no, I don't think so. And then when he did, said, you know what? Just out of the blue, he's like, I'm doing it tomorrow. And he showed me, what he was going to do. I'm like, oh my God, you can't do that. It's going to be terrible. You can't do that.
Yeah. And I admit, it was kind of boring.
Oh, it was so boring. But then I kind of said, because he had been trying to get me to do a podcast for a while before that, and I always said no. And then when I saw what he was going to do, and he was just going to gung-ho do it by himself, and I saw what he was going to do, I'm like, oh, I can't do this. So I went ahead and went on with him, and we kind of came up with the whole... I actually came up with the name Secular Yakking, by the way.
Yes, you did.
But we kind of came up with the whole, just talking with each other about, media that's going on now, news that's going on now. And we figured, we've always done this in the car. We've done it forever. Why don't we just do that on microphones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so within 2 hours, I'd rebranded and
You rewrote the whole thing.
the whole show.
Yeah.
And we went live that first night sometime in May of 2015.
Is that when it was?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, don't go listen to that show.
Yeah, he said he's listened back to it. The audio is terrible.
It's not good.
But we got better. We improved.
We did.
And I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah.
Do you mind telling me what the original idea was before she came along and made it better?
I was basically going to talk about In God We Trust stuff, violations that had come up, ways to fight. It was going to be
But it was real monotoned and really boring, and it was like a snoozer.
Yeah, I was going to talk about some history. I was going to talk,
but not in a good way.
No, it would be like what's his name? The Bueller guy.
Oh,
no,
yeah. Bueller.
And he's an asshole too.
Yes, he is. But that's what it kind of would have sounded like, It just would have been me talking to a microphone. I've done that a few times. It's not good.
Well, and also I will have to say in his defense, back then he had less of a personality than he has now.
Which isn't much now.
But it is better than it was. So
that is
it
true.
would have really been a snoozer.
I've really come out of my shell.
Yeah, actually, since we were first together, people wouldn't even recognize how much more you talk now.
I know.
It's a huge difference.
It is.
I'm sorry, that's just hilarious to me the way y'all. It's just like natural, so natural y'all don't even know you're really doing it.
Yeah. When people tell us, it's like, really? We sound interesting?
Well, yeah, he tells me all the time. I'm like, are you sure? Because I don't know about that. It's just, I'm like, okay. We have so many listeners, and I'm like, wow, okay, but sure, if you say so, whatever.
Well, I think it's cool. First of all, I would say that, they say communication is one of the hallmarks of a good relationship. And y'all certainly don't have any problem doing that, apparently.
No.
Nope.
Generally not.
So that's a good thing. And the fact that y'all were able to bring it to a podcast and kind of just use that as your basis, I think, is a pretty good idea. Kudos to you, Amy, for saving the rest of us from...
That sounds so narcissistic from my point of view.
No.
Well, to be honest, it probably would have made 2 or 3 episodes and then died, so you probably would have never even heard it anyway.
All right, I'll toot my own horn and totally agree with that. It really would have.
So what are some of the things y'all do on the show?
Well, we talk about politics, secular issues, life in general.
Yeah, things that are going on in the news, and we try to find some things, too, that aren't widely known, like not in the mainstream media.
Right. I like to do the obscure news stories because they get like zero attention. It might run through Facebook for an hour or something, and then everybody forgets about it.
Right.
That's kind of what I like to look into.
And I like when he adds a science news story every once in a while.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thing.
Yeah, science is... Some shows have segments like that, and I think it's good to have kind of that balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of only throw it in once in a while. It's not like a regular thing.
Yeah, I don't have a regular science. Just when something big happens or I find something that's really interesting.
Right.
So.
And, of course, y'all also have the Potter Award. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Love the Potter Award.
Yeah, there's a good bit of history in the Potter Award. That's...
really is, isn't there?
Yeah. So, it's based on...
Wasn't it an invocation, or was that the thing that we were protesting?
The thing we were protesting. But
okay.
That's so you got to realize the Mr. Potter Award is based on the character Mr. Potter from It's a Wonderful Life, right? He's a bureaucratic corporatist.
Yes.
And only looks out for himself and does whatever he wants.
Right.
The rest of the world be damned, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's what we based the Mr. Potter Award on. The idea came about is... early 2015, we were protesting In God We Trust in Clark County, Washington.
Right.
And up on the dais up there is one of the council members. What was his name?
Oh, I don't remember, but he looked just like Potter.
Yeah, he did. And I looked at her and was like, that guy looks like Mr. Potter. And he acts like him, too. He had this smug look on his face. And, whenever it just... The entire thing was Mr. Potter to us, right?
Yes.
I mean, when
his behavior, his looks, all of it, it's like the face you just want to slap.
Yeah. And so I kept that in mind, right? And when I decided to do the Original Model Project, one of my first stories was another council member that had written back to me, because part of what we do in there is we offer an Pluribus Unum to any council that's putting up In God We Trust. He had written back to me, and it sounded like he was really interested. So I watched the council meeting, and it turns out that was the guy who had proposed it. Oh. And then afterwards, he wrote back and had basically laughed in my face because they had passed it. I don't remember the exact wording, right?
Right.
But, he was being a complete ass about it.
Yeah.
Right? And I said, okay, first show, I'm going to go back and talk about this guy. right? And he's going to get this award that I have claimed to be the Mr. Potter Award.
Yeah, and
that was how it started.
It's how it started, and now every time we find someone who is being exactly in the same behavior, it's this way, no highway option kind of deal, and I don't care who I run over to do it, they get a Potter Award.
Yeah.
And then later on down the line, we started deciding we need to at least do maybe once a month a Bailey Award to counterbalance the ugly.
Yeah. So anybody that went out of their way to be altruistic,
yes,
gets a Bailey Award. Those are a little harder to find,
unfortunately. And we only do it once a month, and hopefully we do find one to do a Bailey Award once a month. But we always every week do a Potter Award. There's so many to choose from.
Yeah.
What are some of your Potter Award winners?
Oh boy, we had a sheriff down in Hunt County, Texas. I forgot his name, but he, if I remember right, he was one of my In God We Trust sheriffs, which is what brings me to a lot of these guys anyway. And not only that, he used government resources during the middle of a flood to go move his furniture at his house.
Oh, I remember
you remember
that
this
one.
guy?
Yeah.
And it's things like that. It's like, I cannot believe
he saved himself and be damned everybody else.
Right, and he got not only his a couple sheriff's deputies stuck in the flood, he sent then prison guards out to help them get unstuck, and then they all went to
save his crap,
to save his furniture at his house,
and let everybody else just basically drown in the water. I mean, ruin all their things in the flood.
Yeah,
he just wanted to save himself and use funds for it, as well as policemen and whatnot.
We had another one here in Washington.
There's been so many.
Oh yeah, there's 85, 90 of them. What did this guy do in Washington? I want to say it had to do with the Arlene's Flowers case out here. He wanted to change the city ordinance so that the city was supporting Arlene's Flowers, and it was sort of like setting a citywide RFRA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Something like that. I don't remember all the exact details, but
But it's people who just want to, it doesn't matter what the rules are, or that you have to run over people to get done what you want to get done. It's your interest, and you don't care, what it does to anyone else.
Yeah.
That's usually how the Potter winner goes.
Yeah, and I like a Potter winner that's, like I said, obscure.
Right. And the other thing that we tend to do is when we get a Potter winner, he can't do just one thing, or she can't do just one thing. They usually have a list of things that they do. You got to be worthy to get a Potter Award.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you right now, here in the South, there's plenty of those awards to go around.
Yeah, I tend to bounce around the South quite a bit. You'd be amazed, though. I found him, the governor of Maine is a Potter Award winner.
Oh, that guy.
Governor LePage.
LePage,
right? Yeah, he won one. I haven't had I don't think we've had a repeat Potter Award winner.
I thought
I have had a Potter Redemption once, though. I have had one. That was Justin Burnett. He was in God We Trust wacko, right, in Missouri? Springfield, Missouri. And he changed his mind later on.
I kind of sort of remember that.
Yeah, Tom talked to him and he changed his mind.
But yeah, that's pretty much, how our Potter works, and we always have one every week. I think we've done every week.
Almost every week.
Just about every week.
Unless I have a really long interview or something.
Right.
Then I'll do a Potter Award.
Well, yeah, y'all have started doing interviews and what do you call it? Yakking sessions?
Yakking sessions.
Yakking sessions, yeah.
Yep.
And I was one of the first ones on a yakking session.
Yep, you were.
Why did you decide to start doing that?
Well, I thought it would be a good idea to start highlighting other podcasts. I mean, people, I think we finally got enough listeners that it felt right to bring other podcasters in and to get their show a little more known. Yeah,
we don't do it formally. It's very informal, and it's just, pretty much talk about anything, plug your show, that kind of a deal.
Yeah. I mean, we've done a couple interviews here and there. I mean, we did Uzima. I did.
He has been doing quite a bit of interviews lately, though, so I've been yelling at him about curtailing that just a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Oh, well. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, he doesn't listen at all.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Unscripted.
In one ear and out the other.
I'm wearing headphones. It goes in both ears.
No, it doesn't stay there.
Anyway. Well, I've enjoyed the interviews I've heard so far.
Well, good.
I think the dynamic of you two kind of bouncing off and playing off each other is really a good dynamic to have. I kind of enjoy the back and forth between you two, and it works well in an interview too, is because there's things that one of y'all might say, but forgot a piece of it, or y'all have different questions. Yeah. And it's just, y'all have a good dynamic of playing off each other, like I said. So
we do tend to do that often, like whether it's meeting people or going to a social gathering or something, we'll kind of play off. He'll say something that I forgot or didn't think about, or I'll do the same thing that he doesn't think about, and we kind of just, I don't know, we don't even think about it, just does it. You know?
It just 23 years of doing this, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it.
It's natural, so, which is why it feels interesting when people talk about it. It's like,
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you gotten a lot of feedback on your show about your dynamic or whatever?
We've gotten some, so it's kind of the same thing you're saying, that people like the way we banter back and forth.
That's what I was just going to say. He does all the keeping up with everything. I just come on here and talk. That's all I do. And he tells me several times about how people like the dynamic that we have, the back and forth, just the, like you said, naturalism of it. And I'm like, okay, because in my thoughts, I'm like, people actually listen to us, really? Because I'm like, I would assume we were boring or something, but sure. But he says, they like it. I'm like, okay. Works for me.
Well, usually podcasts are better if you have more than one person.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
That was partially a factor, though, when he was going to do it by himself, too. I mean, the whole sleepiness of it. Because I figured just the one, it would be not only your personality, but just the one, it would be totally boring.
So I'm unlucky in
it was
not
a
having,
snoozer.
Yeah, I know.
It was a total snoozer.
Zero. I have zero personality, so.
No, you're much better than you were before.
We've been over this already.
I'm just saying.
Anyway.
We'll just keep doing this, sorry.
Anyway, yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I mean, when I had a podcast before this one, I had a co-host, and it's all in how you interact. I mean, having two people on the show is only good if those two people are able to communicate with each other and play off each other effectively.
I agree.
Yeah.
A good example of that's Tom and Cecil over at Cognitive Dissonance. They're really good at that, playing off each other.
Yeah, you can tell they've been doing that for a long time. They were friends well before the podcast, so.
Exactly.
It helps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
it helps a lot.
So that kind of thing helps things along. Of course, scathing atheists,
Yeah.
They script a lot of that out. That's, God, the kind of work he puts in just blows my mind.
I know. That's just amazing. But they make it sound so natural, though.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. They make it sound natural and not forced at all. Like, you can't even tell it was scripted because somebody was asking them. And they've asked them several times, have y'all, is it off the cuff? No, we script everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's mind-blowing. Of course, they're living off of it, so I guess it better be good, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, we don't script anything.
Well.
You get a few news articles, but that's it. I mean, we don't really do anything with it other than just start yakking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the articles y'all cover. I mean, I think it covers kind of a good range of secular issues and political issues.
Yeah, I tend to get a little too political sometimes, and I've got to get reined in.
Yeah, I have to rein him in several times for that.
I enjoy political stuff because I'm kind of a junkie a bit, so that doesn't bother me near as much. But
yeah, he is too.
But I do realize that some people kind of don't like that as much, and they don't want to hear it. They hear about it every day. They probably don't want to hear about it on a podcast. I mean, everybody's different.
Well, I kind of, when I rein him in, it's more to keep that balance because you do have some who don't and then some that do. So when he starts getting a little too carried away, I kind of start mentioning, hey, we need like a science story or we need, this secular story. And, it's kind of just to keep that balance going.
Yeah, and that's another reason I don't do a lot of Trump on the show.
Because it's too easy, first of all.
Yeah, it's too easy. Everybody already knows. Unless it's something that's really, really huge.
But we are very into politics. I mean, like, a lot. And we could, like, do a whole nother show just on politics, just alone. And
I don't think I haven't asked.
yeah, he has several times. Well, hell, you even talked about just a Trump show or something. I'm like, no, that's annoying. It's easy, but it's annoying.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been doing the last couple of shows, and I'm like, I don't want to say anything, but damn it, he keeps doing such ignorant shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I've got to stop doing that so much because it's too easy, and it pisses me off to the point where I just can't think rationally.
That's kind of, we get really pissed off when we start talking about it and start kind of ranting and yelling. I kind of think we stay away from it almost sometimes too much lately anyways.
Yeah. I really should.
Because we like I said, we try to find news that isn't like right in the big headlines that everybody knows about. But I'm thinking with the craziness that Trump is doing, maybe we should stick a tiny bit in once in a while.
Maybe we should do another show.
Oh, shut up. We are so not doing a whole nother damn show.
Trumpocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
I see what you're... I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just...
Yeah.
It's just like some bizarro universe we're in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of
really is.
surreal, you know. Like, I can't believe this fucker is actually president. I mean, what the fuck happened, you know?
Yeah.
You think you're going to wake up like any minute now.
Yeah, it's just... And I try to make light of it, because otherwise I'll be fucking, you know, in a fetal position all the fucking time. So I have to.
Right. Well, I swear, the very first time I heard that Trump was running for president and not only doing well, I actually thought they were kidding. I really honestly thought it was a real joke. I'm like, nuh-uh.
Yeah, I thought it was just a publicity stunt.
I thought it was some big joke. And then to find out it's real, are you kidding me?
Most people thought that.
Let alone now he's the freaking commander-in-chief. Seriously?
Fascist in chief. He's not the commander.
Yes, the fascist in chief.
Yeah.
I refuse to call him commander in chief.
I think he's a psycho in chief, honestly. That guy's got some serious mental problems.
He's probably got a couple screws loose, at least.
Oh, yeah. I don't doubt that at all.
I don't know. It's just scary to have a guy like that, as the leader of the country. Leader of the free world, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, we get off that, though, because we could...
Yeah, right? You kind of get sucked in.
Go on that forever. I mean, last episode I actually saw a documentary, and I talked about that. I don't know, have y'all heard about the James Baldwin documentary, I'm Not Your Negro?
Yeah, I've heard about that. I want to go see it, but it's still in the theater, so I'm going to have to wait.
Oh yeah, it's in like independent theaters or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw it here.
We might.
It was really good, so I kind of gave a mini review on the podcast just to kind of course, it wasn't exactly uplifting because...
Well, James Baldwin's... James Baldwin's story isn't exactly entirely uplifting.
Yeah, but it's important to talk about, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still... I mean, I would like to say there was some glimmer of hope, but he said... Basically, the quote, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, he said, I have to be an optimist because I'm alive. I'm like, oh, great. That's not a very ringing... it's not exactly a ringing endorsement. So.
Yeah, so the person that introduced me to James Baldwin and his work was a friend of mine named Travis Simmons. Mm. Yeah, he also introduced me to Robert Greene Ingersoll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we just started doing a quote before each one of our shows now.
Yeah, what I try to do is find a Robert Greene Ingersoll quote that works in with the show.
Yeah.
So, that can get difficult.
Yeah,
well, there's a lot of quotes.
I read one. I don't remember which one I picked. There's so many of them, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's difficult to pick just one. I mean, I had heard of him before, and I actually have an audiobook of a lot of his stuff I just never got around to listening to.
Yeah.
But I knew who he was, and I heard of him, and I heard a lot of people talk about him. And when you mentioned doing the quotes, I was like, you know what? I need to read up more on that guy because it was like in the early 20th century, wasn't it?
Yeah, late 19th century was when he was big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need it because that wasn't exactly too common back then. I mean, you're kind of
no, he was
a rebel.
Ahead of his time for that.
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah, he was ahead of his time, and he was giving speeches and all that good stuff. So, I mean, yeah, he was kind of a pioneer, I think, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I started a little
side project that gets put on hold every few months of rereading Ingersoll. And I do a few pieces, and then it gets put aside for a few months, and I'll do a few more pieces. So
yeah, and everybody says they like listening to it because what
I
was
don't know.
it that they said? Something about the way you sound when you're reading it.
yeah, I thought it was kind of boring, but whatever.
But you've gotten good feedback with it, so
Well, it's all about what the listeners want, So.
Exactly.
absolutely.
Which I need to do another set.
Yeah, you haven't done one in a while.
Yeah.
What's the name of that podcast?
Ingersoll Revisited. Yeah, I've only got 5 or 6 on there. So, like I said, it's a real sporadic thing. I wanted to do every month, but life.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about you is apparently you work all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one could say that.
Because I don't remember when I was talking to you before, you were just like, well, I've heard you on the show, you like worked fucking like ridiculous hours straight, and I'm like, what the hell?
That's when you did that outage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He worked the entire weekend, including the week before and after. And there's sometimes when he's working on the weekends, when he does overtime, that he actually sleeps at work.
Yeah, it's not worth coming home.
No. Well, it takes, on a good day, it takes an hour to get there.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoons, it takes almost 2 hours to get home.
And
sometimes
then,
longer.
And if I've pulled a 16, 17-hour day and I know I have to be back in at 5 the next morning,
There's no point.
no, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous.
I mean, I assume you're like an electrician of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you probably make pretty good money. That's what I told you. I'm like, yeah, well, at least you're making decent money out of it. But shit, if you ain't got no time to spend the money, I don't know what.
Well,
those are few and far between.
Yeah,
and usually those are scheduled out pretty far in advance. Usually, not always.
yeah. Well, the thing that sucks is crap is so expensive here.
Yeah, that's true.
Seattle is not a cheap place to live.
True.
Seattle, yes, that's one of the expensive cities I've heard.
Oh my God, is it ever? I heard it's the 8th most expensive place in the world to live.
In the
And it's
world?
the 5th in the... Yep, it's the 8th in the world and the 5th in the country.
Yay.
That says a lot.
Wow, yeah, that's especially considering L.A., San Francisco. I'm probably
Yep.
up there on the list, I would think.
Yeah, I believe so. New York.
New York, yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Nashville's going up, I'll tell you that much right now.
I believe that.
I mean, I've never seen, of course, I haven't seen many cities anyway, but the gentrification here is just, the rate is just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, Seattle went through that in the 70s and 80s.
What, just really growing like crazy?
No, the gentrification.
Oh.
I mean, I literally saw it happening because I work downtown, and I saw the condos going up, just like, I swear to God, it could have been more than a couple months. I'm like, oh my God, how many are they going to put up? And they're fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing a lot right now. Nothing but building.
You know, well, it's starting to turn more rural than it was just in the cities now.
It's because nobody can afford to live in the King County, which is Seattle, where Seattle is.
Yeah.
It's so expensive, it's insane.
I don't live in Davidson County for that reason, because I can't afford it. I can't buy a house. I have a house here, but there's no way I could afford one there. Just the property taxes alone.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're actually in the county just north of Seattle, which is slightly cheaper, but with the growth that is happening around here, it's skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Because everybody's moving out and heading up here.
Well, part of the problem is, too, we don't have a public transportation system worth of shit. That really sucks. There's no trains, there's no buses that go further than 20 miles, and there's none that go outside the county. So...
Yeah. We at least do have a decent public transit system here.
It still kind of sucks, but they're working on it. It's really behind from what I heard. It's like 30 years behind where it should have been.
Right, where it should be. But it's still 30 years ahead of a lot of the rest of the country.
No, but yeah, I was going to say, it's doing, it's growing right now. It's working on it.
Yeah.
Well, we don't even...
Traffic is insane.
We don't even have... It's like Ferris Bueller. I don't even have a shitty car to make fun of, you know? We don't even have a fucking shitty transportation system. So, we don't have one at all. And that's because of the road builders lobby. Oh, God, they love to build roads around here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, that's way off topic, but...
Right?
That's the yakking part, y'all making me yak.
That is.
So.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Y'all say are into secular activism. What are some of the things y'all do?
So I do run a group up here. a humanist group. Mm-hmm. And that's
the group's been around for 20 some odd years, but we've had it for the last
6.
Has it been that long?
6 years.
Yeah.
So we do stuff with them. We do local events and things like that.
We also help out with Camp Quest Northwest.
Camp Quest Northwest, that's right.
You helped out with that. You're on the Seattle board,
No, I'm on the Humanist of Washington.
Humanist of Washington, okay.
Yes. I never joined the Seattle Atheist Board.
And then also you were doing invocations there.
I've done invocations.
You haven't done it lately. He's also a humanist celebrant.
Yeah.
So
I've done them all in Washington.
Marries people.
No, I wed people.
Whatever. Oh, yeah, I guess you're already taken, so yeah, I suppose that's right.
That would be illegal.
Well, sort of.
Yes, sort of. In Utah, it's not necessarily, I mean...
I was going to say, pick your location.
But, yeah, we do all sorts of fun activism.
Yeah, and then we go to a bunch of events and stuff.
Yeah.
What kind of... I'm sure they have a lot of secular events up there.
They do.
Yeah, about 4 decent-sized ones a year.
Yeah,
or are we down to 3 now?
Well, it's been slowly dwindling, actually.
Yeah. You would be amazed the way the secular community works up here. You would think the Pacific Northwest, not nice and progressive, full of, it's heavily secular. A lot of nuns up here.
Right.
But that also leads to a problem of no common enemy.
Right. Kind of get laziness syndrome.
People get apathetic and they're just, meh, I don't feel like going.
Yeah. That's kind of what's been happening with some of the activities, like the groups and stuff. Like, you have Darwin Day, you have the 4th of July picnic that they throw every year. They've got winter solstice. We used to do a picnic up at the Peace Arch, up at the Canadian border. We stopped doing that.
And the attendance has just gone down.
Yeah. You honestly would think with this many people around that you would do really well. It used to, actually, back in the day... you'd have a Darwin Day party and there'd be like 100 people there.
Yeah.
And now it just slowly dwindles.
Yeah, you're lucky to get 35 or 40.
I heard of Camp Quest before. I know there's a couple of them around.
Yeah, they're nationwide.
18?
Oh, is it that many?
18. Yeah, 17 or 18. I'm not a Camp Quest expert. We did talk to Chuck and Bridget a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
We did a Camp Quest episode, and that's all that's on there. It's a special midweek episode.
Yeah, I wasn't on that. You and the kids were.
89.5.
I heard that one.
Oh. Yeah, and, Robert was on the board to help get Camp Quest to come here to Washington State. And it was, 6 years ago that you guys were working
6 years
on that?
ago.
So this will be the 6th camp this year.
Camp.
And our kids have been going to every camp since they got it here. And this will be their last year because they're 17 now and you can't go after that.
Unless you're a counselor.
Unless you go and be a counselor, which our oldest is a counselor there. She's been a counselor. This will be her, 2nd year now as a counselor? 3rd year? Wow, no kidding.
Yep.
And it's right on the ocean. Well, the Sound.
The Sound.
It's still seawater, but whatever. It's absolutely phenomenally gorgeous. And it's, an awesome camp where kids who have that same like-minded kind of thing can get together and have a blast and be comfortable around people that accept them for the way they think.
Yeah.
And, not say you're going to hell kind of crap.
Yeah, so definitely if you're interested in Camp Quest, go listen to 89.5 and you'll get some huge insight because we also had we had the twins on with us as well.
Our twins.
So.
Yeah, it's like a secular alternative to, I guess, Bible.
Yeah, it's a science and nature camp.
Yeah, that's what it's classified as. Most camps, they're always like the Bible camps and kind of crap. This is like the opposite of that.
Oh,
They do.
I was forced to go
they
to
do.
one, so kinda.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, this one they actually encourage critical thinking. They do marine biology with a marine biologist, They build things and they learn how to, just basically critical thinking is like a major thing.
Yeah.
And, they do a Socrates Cafe where they talk and they bring up questions and topics and they just all get together and their minds just start rolling. It's really cool.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's several camps across the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to say there's one near you somewhere.
I was going to say, I thought there was one in Tennessee.
Maybe east side. I think there's a Blue Ridge camp.
Yeah.
It's Virginia.
They've kind of got them spaced
Oh, it was
all
in
over.
Virginia? Okay.
Oh, okay. But yeah, they're really cool. They're fantastic. Kids love being around kids who, have the kind of same thought processes, and they're comfortable.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you'll find at places like the South, you were talking about kind of dwindling numbers and people don't show up as much, maybe. And that's because they don't have to worry about it as much. But here in the South,
Right.
we're fucking outcasts. So
Yep.
there tend to be more of us that want to get together because we don't have that situation here. We have churches fucking everywhere.
Yep.
Jesus is he's like the unofficial president of the South.
Yep.
So it makes things a little difficult, and it makes us want to get together more. So you'll find, strangely enough, the more rural the area, like the more they want to stick together.
Right.
I've noticed that quite a bit. When you have it like that, they're more active and wanting to be more active, which is why around here, because it's so everyday, common, boring, they're like, I don't feel like doing anything, because they have nothing really to fight against.
Right.
Yeah. And even here in Nashville, we're kind of a progressive city compared to the rest of the state and the rest of the South. Our neighbor to the east, Knoxville, which is the home of University of Tennessee, football and basketball. Oh yeah, and there's a school there as well. They don't care about that as much, but
No.
but Knoxville, like free thinkers and that whole community is really active, and they're more Republican. So you see how that here in Nashville they don't do shit hardly.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show, like, the more conservative the place, like, the more active they usually are.
Yeah, that tends to be the trend.
Yeah, I see that.
And there's a lot of conventions. Most of them are out either the South or the East. Like Pennsylvania, there's one. There's a couple down here in the South. We have NaNoCon, of course, coming up, the Nashville Convention, ReasonCon, all that good stuff.
Right.
And that's part of the reason, because most of us live out here, I guess, a little more active, a little more enthusiastic, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, y'all have the group that you're in. Of course, you have the podcast, CamQuest, but you also have something called the Original Motto Project. What's that all about?
Yeah. That's my little pet project, one could say.
Yep.
Yeah, that's actually a national organization I came up with about 2 years ago. Its main goal is to change the motto of the United States back to E Pluribus Unum, which is what our founders intended, as opposed to the current motto of In God We Trust.
Right. And E Pluribus Unum means out of many one.
Out of many one, yes.
It unites instead of divides.
Yeah. I was just going to say, and that's where a lot of my my drive came from early on. For politics and stuff. Well, I'd always been interested in politics, and it all kind of came together into this organization.
Well, I do know that, of course, you know the history. Why don't you tell the history a little bit of where In God We Trust came from?
Okay, so In God We Trust originally started in 1864 when Salmon Chase, the Treasury Secretary, on the advice of a minister, decided to put it on coins, right? And it first came out on the 2-cent coin, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that sounds right. It's been a while since I've been over the history. And it stayed that way on and off coins for roughly the next 100 years, 90 years, really. One time it did come off I forget which one it was. It was Teddy Roosevelt took it off the coins. It was 1917, I think. And the very next year, he got such a backlash on it that it was back on. Yeah, it stayed on coins from then on until 1954. Well, that's under God and the Pledge. 1956, it was instituted as the actual motto of the United States, and it was then put on all coins and cash by congressional decree.
Yeah, the 50s were a blast.
Yeah, as they used it as what's the word? A strike against communism and godless atheism.
Godless atheism. You can say it.
I can sometimes. So yeah, so it's been on there ever since 1956. They finally made it on 1957. Yeah, until 1970, someone challenged it, and it was struck down as ceremonial deism. Well, the case was actually struck down on standing, but Supreme Court said it was ceremonial deism, so you don't get to use separation of church state.
Was American Atheism, what's her name? I can't remember her name, that brought it.
Madeline Murray O'Hare. No, that wasn't her. That was I forget. Stephen Aronow brought that case.
Okay. I'm thinking she did something.
O'Hara never directly challenged In God We Trust that I know of. She was more about school prayer at the time.
That's what it was, school prayer. Okay. I think it's probably
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen plenty of examples, again, because I live in the South, of people touting In God We Trust. I know that there was a county down here in Tennessee that did that, and I think the FFRF actually wrote him a letter.
Yeah, the FFRF will write them a letter when they come up, but the letter basically has no power.
Yeah, and in this case, the guy was a real dick about it. I mean, these letters are...
In all cases, let me clarify, in all these cases, they're real dicks about this. Trust me, because I write them letters all the time.
Okay, well, you are an authority on this, so... It's not a logical fallacy to appeal to authority, because you actually are an authority, so...
Usually, yes.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Tennessee is an interesting state for that. I want to say there are 26 counties within God We Trust on their county buildings, I think. This is all going off of memory. And I'm pretty sure you guys have, I'd have to look at my map again, somewhere around 20-ish police departments or sheriff departments that have it on their vehicles.
On their vehicles, yeah.
Yo, I know. It's
You guys are way behind Missouri and Texas, though.
Oh, I know, and that's... Tennessee's a weird case. I mean, I remember when I was doing the other podcast, we covered stuff like that. There was a big fight in the one county about putting In God We Trust on a building because the government was, the county government was going to have to pay for it, and there was actually a guy who was on the city council, I think, who fought against it tooth and nail, and he was ostracized for it.
Oh yeah, that happens.
So, but I thought
all the time.
Cool, that he
Yeah.
actually stood up or whatever, because
Yeah.
and that what makes me mad is the case that you're talking, because I know that's why they never can bring anything to court, really, because of that one particular case, that it's ceremonial deism or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, Michael Newdow is currently trying to fight that with his cases. He's trying to get a case in every district that he can with In God We Trust on the money. And so they're still having trouble with standing, but he's using RFRA this time, which is a better argument, but it's still losing.
I always thought RFRA was interesting, considering it was started out letting Indians smoke peyote or something, I think, or mescaline, I think it was.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And then it was kind of twisted into this, like, Christians will do, twisted into sort of bigoted, thing where it's anti-LGBT stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's their religious freedom to discriminate.
Yeah, basically what it is.
Yeah, that frustrates the hell out of me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of any of those, and that's putting it mildly. Of course, I think we can agree on that, being fellow SJWs and such.
Yes, absolutely.
So, you want to... I like the Pluribus Unum. I don't know what the issue is, considering that is the original motto.
Right.
I know the trend started in the 50s. Is this something that started happening all at once, or was it kind of a gradual thing?
So, based on my history, so there's some contention as to what really drove this. There's one side of the coin, which is saying the corporatist took over the evangelical movement and used them as ploys to bring In God We Trust, because I forgot what it was. I read a book on it, and basically it was a move to get corporate power, right? So that's one side. The other one is that the evangelicals took over the corporate in order to get religious power.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which brought together the Republican Party as we know it today, the corporate religious conglomeration. But yeah, it kind of has started in the 40s, right after World War II. There was all these little pushes here and there about getting more religion in government and fighting the communists was part of that. McCarthyism was huge on that. If you weren't a God-fearing Christian, you must be a communist atheist, right?
That was big.
And that culminated in the mid-50s with, Under God and God We Trust. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And So yeah, it was a huge evangelical movement.
Yeah, I knew about the merging of the evangelical movement with the Republican Party. especially when Reagan was elected. That was kind of the fruition of their dreams or whatever.
The moral majority finally was able to take over with Reagan.
Yep. What was it, Pat Robertson or was it Jerry Falwell?
Both.
It was both. Oh, yeah. All those assholes.
Yeah.
And then they got pissed off when Reagan didn't do what they fucking wanted them to.
Yeah, but they kept the power they gained.
They got the power, but they're getting it now, apparently. They're getting more shit than they ever dreamed of. I mean,
yeah, well, they got a theocrat sitting in number 2 seat.
That's right. The number 2 seat.
Pence,
Yeah. Number 2 seat.
Nobody's sure if Pence would be any better than Trump would be. I don't know. Pence is within the kind of the normal continuum, I guess, of political.
Yeah, he's a politician, right? And he knows there are limits for politicians.
He might not act as crazy. I'll say that.
Right. He's predictable.
Right.
We would be able to predict what Pence was going to do.
You know, he's extremely religious, but he understands how politics play.
Right.
Whereas Trump just talks out of his ass.
Right. I mean, Pence backtracked on the Indiana RFRA bill, right? He knows when to cave to pressure.
Right.
So he's not completely unreasonable.
Well, then he doesn't tweet at like 3 a.m. bitching about something he had a dream
Jesus.
Oh, my God, yes.
Why is he allowed to tweet? I mean, they should be.
I don't get that.
Well, I mean, I guess they technically can't make him stop, but...
No, they can't, but...
I mean...
They should.
Doesn't he have advisors? I mean, sure, unless they're all yes men.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
definitely.
fucking awesome, you know, because that's exactly what you want. A bunch of yes men, and you live in a fucking your own bubble, you know.
Yeah,
that's great for the president of the United fucking States of America. Yeah.
I think Trump has lived in his own bubble his whole life. That's why he's nuts.
Yeah, there was a book I read, The Making of Donald Trump, and it's not a very long book. It's not a full biography, but it's basically what this journalist's time kind of covering him over his career and the kind of shit he does. I mean, it just blows my mind. I mean, how do people still... The only reason he has anything is because his dad left him shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only reason. And he's always been this way. He's just a narcissistic prick.
Oh, yeah. He's been that way forever.
Yeah, he's a vengeful bully, basically. I mean, if you piss him off, he goes to every length he can to try to bring you down and destroy you. Mm-hmm. I mean, Trump is just... He's just a horrible person. And he's dangerous because he's in this position of power.
Right.
Yeah, we know a psychologist, and she's not a fan of him, obviously, but she's mentioned that, you know, as a psychologist, he definitely has some issues going on for sure.
I mean, she can't.
No, just her observation, just from seeing what you see, you know.
There was something, I think it was the New York Times that posted it. There was like a letter by a bunch of psychologists, signed off by a bunch of psychologists saying he had some kind of disorder. I can't remember exactly what it said, but...
Yeah, I seem to remember that.
I don't know how valid that really is. I mean, the whole narrative of you actually have to talk to somebody to get him in a clinical setting to actually give him any sort of diagnosis, I don't think that holds water.
Yeah.
I mean...
You can watch his actions, the things that he says, and you could, you know, kind of get a little bit of a idea of, okay, the guy's kind of not all there.
It's not like he fucking hides it either. So, I mean, it's not like he's going to tell you anything different in a therapist office than he would tell you right now out in person, you know?
Actually, he might tell you less than a therapist's office.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Well, part of his problem is he just talks before he thinks. And, you know, which is why he just talks out of his ass. He just throws shit out there before he even stops and thinks, maybe I shouldn't say that. Or maybe I shouldn't tweet that, you know? He just goes.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care. He never, rarely
ever
ever takes anything back.
No.
No, I don't. Does he ever take anything back?
Well, he deleted a couple tweets where he misspelled something.
Oh, whoopee-doo.
Well, I mean, but he won't say it, but his advisors...
He'll never say he's wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
But he'll secretly, you know, they'll take it back or whatever and not say anything about it. And he did that with the Muslim ban because the courts were laughing him out of court.
Right, but he just dropped it. He's like, nope, I'm not going to push it.
Yeah, he likes to deflect.
Yeah, and he blames everybody else and that's a classic behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody he's got so many issues, I just don't even know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely, and see, this is what happens. You don't want to talk about Trump, but the motherfucker creeps in.
You can't help it.
Yeah, it's the corollary to Godwin's law.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's what it's been called.
Just can't help it.
I mean, it's scary. I think for me, that's the most, because I'm a white guy, white cis guy, het guy. And, if I'm not going to be affected terribly unless, the whole country explodes, then everybody's fucked. But
right.
I'm more worried about, women, people of color, LGBT folk, those are the ones that are going to be really adversely affected.
Right, which is why I'm an SJW.
Yeah, me too. And that's what and we're already seeing that with the rise of kind of the KKK getting a resurgence. We're seeing these alt-right, fucking Nazis.
Yeah.
Getting emboldened.
It's odd. It's even out here too. We see this sort of stuff. Just today, I saw a news story. A local Muslim man was shot in his driveway while he was working on his car, and the guy yelled at him, "Get out of my country!"
Really?
Just for that. Well, we also had here our town the next town over. 18-year-old boy. It was a black Muslim boy was found hanging.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
In the Pacific Northwest.
In the Pacific Northwest, no less.
Well, that doesn't actually surprise me, because I have heard that, was it Idaho?
Yeah, Idaho and northwest Montana.
Mm.
Yeah, those are. They have a nice dotting of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Very much so.
Richard Spencer is from Whitefish, Montana.
All right. And that's where his mom lives, and they were trying to start.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
They were trying to start a whole thing with him, making a base there, basically.
Yeah, that didn't go over well.
No, the people protested the shit out of it.
Which is good. And then there was also,
yes.
I don't know, there's a documentary that came out about that same kind of situation. I think it was in the Dakotas somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was some group was basically trying to take over this small town and make it into like a white supremacist stronghold. I can't remember. I watched it on HBO, I think, but yeah, it's really scary.
It's crazy. It feels like we're going back in time.
Yeah.
Well, also keep in mind that it's not so much state regions of the country. It's more the divide is more rural versus urban, I think.
Yeah, it
yes.
is. Yeah.
Because there are plenty of places, even in California, really rural areas where people are really they're not any better than say around here in the rural areas.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the same is here too, because like when you go out in the country, I'm thinking north.
Yeah.
You get a lot of that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the bigger divide there, and it's scary.
It is.
It's almost like cities are going to become these kind of sanctuaries for, and everything is going to be surrounded by a bunch of raving rednecks and shit.
Yeah.
And that's what I live outside the city, and it's kind of redneckish here. And I blend in quite well because I look like one. So, but I'm afraid for people who don't look like me who are starting to move out these surrounding counties because Nashville's too expensive.
Yeah.
And I already hear stories about black people coming out here and getting talked to, crazy or whatever. Because
it's just crazy.
There are not many people. There are not many out here. So that's what I'm most worried about, I think, like I said. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on it. I mean, I'm not going to let that shit pass. I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
I mean, I say that, but I really, if I see some shit happen, I'm no fighter or anything like that, but I can usually get out of shit because I look like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
So most of the time I can talk my way out of shit. If it came right down to it, I'd probably be fucked. But I try not to let it get to that point. And, yeah. So anyway, I kind of wrap things up a little bit. Y'all have let me yak long enough. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find your show?
Okay, so I made it really easy. Website's secularyakking.com. You can find me on Twitter. Do you know where the Twitter is?
Don't you dare ask me again.
It's at Secular Yakking. Facebook is facebook.com/secular-yakking. Like I said, I made it easy. And you can email us at podcast@secular-yakking. So that's how you get a hold of the show. If you want to get a hold of me for the Original Motto Project, it's originalmotto.us. You can, that one I made a little more difficult. It's Pluribus Unum at originalmotto.us, just for fun. And we're also on Twitter there at original_motto. Yeah.
Got any more?
Your personal Twitter's the motto guy or something.
Oh yeah, the motto guy at the motto guy.
Because I've tweeted.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, that doesn't get as much action. That's more of So the interesting thing about at the motto guy is that's an auto tweeter.
Oh.
So I've got a couple. If anybody's heard of it, IFTT, if then that. So basically, that just retweets pretty much everything that my other accounts do.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I don't tweet whatsoever.
Yeah, she has zero Twitter.
No.
do you do anything, Amy, other than bug the shit out of him? Just curious.
That's pretty much it.
No, I don't really do the computer thing. I use the computer to write, like, a book that I'm working on just for me personally.
Oh, that sounds
I also look things up on the internet. I do that. I
She
watch
can Google.
videos on... Yeah, I can Google. I watch videos on how to do things sometimes.
And she can YouTube.
Well, I barely do that, but yeah.
I like to watch
Yeah,
the cat
no-
videos myself.
I like to actually hold a book. A real book. I'm not big on the computer. I'm not on it very often. But then again, that's ironic because we don't really watch television. We only do internet here. So,
Yeah, we stream everything.
yeah.
Well, that's
I,
everybody's-
watch television that way.
Yeah. I'm going to get rid of the cable. I got Roku. So.
We don't even have that. We used to have Roku. We got rid of cable. Then we had Roku, and now we don't even have that.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't had cable in, God, long time.
Y'all are just on the forefront there, aren't you?
Yeah. It takes some technical know-how.
Yeah, it's kind of complicated looking. I said, we just set my mom up today, and I said if he ever dies, we're going back to cable.
That's funny. All right, y'all. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and talking to me.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
And y'all just keep on yakking, okay? Don't stop yakking.
All right.
All right. Y'all take it easy.
All right.
You too.
That'll do it for this episode of the Podunk Polymath Podcast. I want to thank Robert and Amy from Secular Yakking, not hacking, for coming on, talking to me. It was a great conversation. It was fun to hear them basically talk to each other like they do in the show, so it's not fake. They really do talk to each other like that. I forgot to mention in the pre-ramble that I've actually opened a store on Zazzle, zazzle.com/podunk_polymath. You can get a t-shirt and a mug. There's supposed to be an alternate t-shirt option that was designed by Janie Eichert. For some reason, it's not popping up on there yet. But the t-shirt is showing up in a link, so I don't understand that. But anyway, go check it out. I posted all the links when they came out on the Facebook page. So, of course, if you want to come check out the show, you can come to podunkpolymath.com. Of course, the music was done by ..dash. You can go to see their music at cdbaby.com/cd/.dash. Facebook page is /the Podunk Polymath. Of course, I'm on Twitter, YouTube, Google+, under Podunk Polymath. Emails podunk.polymath@gmail.com. If you want to become part of the Patreon posse, of course, you can go to patreon.com/the Podunk Polymath. The call-in number, which nobody calls, is 615-378-POPO, or 7676, which stands for the Freedom Squared you get by when you listen to the show. Of course, you can join the Podunk Polymath Podcast Posse Facebook group, /the Podunk Polymath Podcast Posse, all separated by periods. And like I said, the Podunk Polymath Podcast online store is zazzle.com/podunk_polymath. If you look on the sidebar at the page, you'll see that you can follow the WordPress. There's a box with the Twitter feed in it. You can donate on PayPal, subscribe on RSS, Google Play, iTunes, and Stitcher. And there's a button for Patreon as well. You see recent posts as well as recent comments. So again, like I said, NaNoCon, heart full, head full. I probably ain't going to remember everything. It's a good thing this reason I took a bunch of pictures this time because I forget shit. I'm glad I got to meet so many great people. And I love y'all. Love all of you. I'm not drunk. I'm just saying that because I mean it. So you know it's true. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope I didn't gush too much. I hope the show was great for you. And like I said, look out for next year. Of course, ReasonCon's coming up next, so that'll be even better. And of course, I'll be taking lots of pictures there and probably drinking all that. So thanks for listening. And until next time, y'all take it easy now, okay?